Who knew Mars was hiding such strange secrets? From water on the red planet to a gigantic smiley face, Bigfoot, and even a weird alien craft, these rovers caught the weirdest things out there. Some of these finds are just mind-bending, and others will leave you with the hope of one day inhabiting our planetary neighbor. So, whether you're a longtime space enthusiast or a curious newcomer, prepare for an adventure full of discovery, wonder, and an element of mystery. Water on Mars? Let's start off by addressing one of the most frequently asked questions. Does Mars have water? Yes, indeed. Water exists on Mars, but it's frozen, and what you're looking at is an impact crater filled with ice water. The red planet once had oceans, rivers, and lakes until charged particles from the sun destroyed its atmosphere billions of years ago. The Martian protective shield faded, and all the liquid water on the surface either evaporated into space or transformed into water ice. The 82-kilometer-wide Korolev crater on Mars is filled with a volume of frozen water of around 22,000 cubic kilometers. It is located beneath the Olympia Undae, which is part of the North Polar ice cap of Mars. Researchers might not find liquid water on the Martian surface anytime soon, but if humans were to step on Mars, they would have a field ready to play ice hockey on. The ice is permanently stable in the Korolev crater. The air above the crater's ice is colder than the air surrounding the crater, which makes the crater a natural cold trap and has additional help from a protective layer shielding the ice from melting or evaporating. This protective layer forms when the local atmosphere sinks on top of the water ice. Definitive proof of liquid water flowing on Mars in the past was provided by the twin Mars exploration rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. They discovered rocks and minerals that could only have formed in wet environments. But that's not all. The twins have revolutionized the perspective through which we look at Mars and have provided valuable information over the years to better understand the red planet and strengthen the foundation for future explorations. The twins, both Opportunity and Spirit, landed on Mars in 2004 with an expected life of 90 sols or Martian days. However, they exceeded expectations by withstanding the severe fluctuations on the Martian surface for a very long time and continued to gather data, paving the way for future explorations. Let's look at some of the strange things they documented and the challenges they had to face on Mars. Bigfoot. Spirit took a panorama in early November of 2007, which quickly caught the attention of mainstream media. Now you must be thinking that it would be something huge, like finding traces of ancient civilization or some sort of evidence of life. Well, not exactly. It was being discussed so much because of the sighting of something that would even be exciting if spotted on Earth. The Bigfoot. Well, for enthusiasts of Bigfoot, this discovery added an exciting new dimension to the legend. But is it actually Bigfoot or some kind of ape sitting? No, it's just a rock on the surface of Mars and a perfect example of pareidolia, which is the human tendency to see patterns in completely random things. If you're still not convinced that it's just a stone, consider this. Spirit didn't take color pictures all at once like we can with our phone cameras because its cameras had monochrome detectors. So, to get color images, Spirit had to take frames of the particular spot at least 3 times, each time with a different color filter placed in front of the lens. In addition to that, before taking the high-resolution panorama, Spirit used to capture a low-resolution navigation camera panorama, which was taken 3 days before the high-resolution panorama in this case. In both images, the apparent Bigfoot seemed to be in the same place with the same posture, concluding that this indeed is a funny-looking rock, which is not rare on the Martian surface. Strange storms. The red planet is infamous for its dust storms, which can sometimes be not just regional but global in scale, so massive that they can be observed from telescopes on Earth. Dust storms happen because the radiant heat of sunlight reaching the planet's surface warms the lower air near the ground. And because of a phenomenon called convection, warm air rises and cold air sinks. Then storms arise as a result of instability generated by warm air rising with dust and cold air coming down. And sometimes, dust particles in the storm can get charged, resulting in lightning created by electrical discharges between them. Captures like these storms are a scary yet fascinating thing to witness indeed. But unfortunately, these storms take their toll on the rovers. It all goes dark. Opportunity exceeded its expected mission duration of just 90 days by surviving for more than 5,000 days on Mars. It survived a global dust storm in 2007, but the long-surviving rover couldn't make it out of the 2018 dust storm. But how it happened may not be what you are expecting. If you're imagining that these dust storms, which can reach heights of up to 30 kilometers and have wind speeds exceeding 95 kilometers per hour, flung Opportunity into the air and broke it down, you will be wrong. You see, Mars's atmosphere is about 1% as dense as Earth's atmosphere. In fact, you could stand in these storms on Mars and not feel much impact. But what these storms are capable of is blocking out sunlight, which is the only power source for rovers exploring the Martian surface. Opportunity was operational for 14 years when it was engulfed in the severe dust storm of 2018, which was more intense than any dust storm it had faced before. On June 10, 2018, Opportunity sent its last message to Earth. Opportunity went silent, but it took a historic storm to take out the sturdy rover. Opportunity didn't die of old age, it went down fighting as a warrior. If you haven't been amazed by a dust storm blanketing the entire planet for a few months, then the next thing will surely pique your interest. We understand the physics behind how dust storms develop, but what triggers a global storm is something scientists are still trying to figure out. Everything about Martian weather is predictable except for these storms. On average, there are 3 global dust storms in a Martian decade, but why some years experience these storms while others don't remains a puzzle. Still, these global storms are not all these rovers witness. Check this out, a dust devil angel. Other than global storms, every year there are a few dust storms that can last for weeks. If you remove the additional factors of seasonal temperature and wind patterns, localized phenomena give rise to dust devils. Millions of them occur every day, lasting for minutes to hours. They look very similar to dust devils formed on Earth, but are larger and stronger. Their usual height ranges from several hundred meters to a kilometer, but one dust devil has been documented to be around 19 kilometers high. Well, they are called devils, but in March of 2005, they passed by as guardian angels and cleaned off the dust from the rover's solar panels. Spirit was once more aided by a dust devil as it went by and cleared off dust after getting caught up in a storm in 2009. However, it wasn't enough. After months, when Spirit finally had enough charge to resume its journey, one of the 6 wheels got stuck in soft sand. It struggled for months to get free but couldn't escape and was stuck at an angle where it couldn't receive appropriate sunlight. Spirit went unresponsive after sending its last message on March 22, 2010. Most likely, Spirit's batteries shut down as they couldn't hold enough charge to power the rover's systems. After continuous failed efforts to revive Spirit, NASA declared the mission complete on May 25, 2011. While the twin rovers are unresponsive and deserted somewhere on the red planet in their final resting place, their contribution and legacy will always endure. However, they are not the only rovers that discovered something weird on Mars. The Curiosity. Since Spirit went silent for the first time in 6 years, Opportunity was alone in exploring Mars. However, that changed when NASA sent its 4th rover to Mars, which touched down on August 5, 2012. It was the first rover to land on Mars with a sky crane maneuver and without using airbags for cushioning. Named Curiosity, it was larger than the twins and had more scientific instruments to conduct in-depth analysis of the Martian environment. While the twin rovers were solely dependent on solar energy, Curiosity also had a generator utilizing radioactive energy to provide a backup option in severe weather conditions and during the night. The Curiosity mission was initially set to complete 669 sols, equivalent to 1 Martian year. However, to date, it has completed over 4,000 sols, equivalent to almost 12 Earth years. During this time, Curiosity has made some record-breaking discoveries, from finding evidence of ancient lakes and rivers to the presence of organic molecules in Martian rock and dust samples, which are building blocks of life. One of the most remarkable things Curiosity captured through its lens is the unusual sunrises and sunsets of Mars. A strange sunset. Our midday sky is a calm blue, but sunsets and sunrises paint the heavens with astounding oranges and gorgeous reds. But did you know that the Martian sky exhibits the opposite? The color of the sky changes when the sun is at its highest point versus when it is lower in the sky due to the interaction of sunlight and the atmosphere. Nitrogen and oxygen make up 99% of Earth's atmosphere, and these gases scatter the shortest wavelengths of light, such as violet and blue, which give our sky its blue hue. The atmosphere on Mars is significantly different from Earth. It is thinner and consists mainly of carbon dioxide and iron-rich dust particles that are larger than those found in Earth's atmosphere. So naturally, they scatter light differently, resulting in the Martian sky appearing opposite to that of Earth. During the day, Martian skies appear red as larger molecules bounce back high-wavelength photons. But as the sun approaches the horizon, it transitions into a beautiful blue haze since sunlight travels longer through the atmosphere. This phenomenon was observed in color by the Curiosity rover for the first time in 2015. Going past days, Curiosity has a strange ritual or each year's passing. Happy birthday! The sample analysis at Mars, also known as the SAM instrument on Curiosity, was programmed by NASA to vibrate in such a manner that it produces the tune of Happy Birthday. This unique celebration was first conducted on August 6, 2013, marking Curiosity's first birthday on Mars. Since then, Curiosity has spent 11 birthdays on the Martian terrain alone, celebrating each occasion by singing Happy Birthday to itself. And during all this time, Curiosity has had its fair share of weird finds. Take this one, for example. Alien craft. In 2022, Curiosity captured an image that took the internet by storm. The picture showed a rectangular-shaped, shaded opening in the Martian rock surface. While scientists believe it's a natural fracture in the rock, likely caused by geological stress or seismic activity over time. Many people don't believe this explanation. Some suggest that it's proof of an ancient civilization or secret Martian bases. There is no scientific evidence to support these ideas, but for non-scientific people, it doesn't look natural at all. So what do you think it is? Let us know in the comments below. Now let's talk about the other rovers that have traveled to Mars and captured weird things there: Perseverance and Ingenuity. After Opportunity went silent in 2018, Curiosity remained the only active rover on Mars for more than 3 years. This changed when another rover, similar in design to Curiosity, named Perseverance, landed on Mars on February 18, 2021. While Curiosity's main goal was to find evidence of previously habitable environments, Perseverance, Mars's youngest rover, is here for something more. Its major mission on Mars is to look for clues of previous life, using advanced technologies capable of detecting biosignatures. Perseverance will also collect samples that can be returned to Earth whenever the technology for interplanetary sample return missions is developed. Equipped with more advanced instruments, Perseverance will also test technology and prepare for human missions to Mars. For example, it will experiment with creating oxygen from the Martian atmosphere. Yup, we are already on our way to making life on Mars possible. But before we talk about that, let's look at one of the secret weapons that Perseverance came equipped with: the flying friend. We are accustomed to seeing aircraft flying over the airspace of our world, but imagine having a drone cruising through the air of a whole other planet. This was something you would only see in sci-fi movies. That is, until April 2021, when Ingenuity, a robotic helicopter carried to Mars in Perseverance's belly, made its first flight. This was a historic moment for planetary robotics, as it made a statement by flying in the very thin environment of Mars, proving that flying aircraft can operate in such extremely harsh conditions of the red planet. This opens up possibilities for further aerial exploration of the Martian surface. Ingenuity not only made history, but also surpassed expectations. Initially, the drone was designed for only 5 flights to demonstrate the technological feat. But over its operational life, Ingenuity has completed 72 flights and traveled over 17 kilometers, reaching altitudes as high as 78 feet. After the first 5 test flights, Ingenuity's mission was changed from technological demonstration to supporting Perseverance by mapping and scouting the Martian terrain. On the landing of its 72nd flight on January 18, 2024, the autonomous navigation of Ingenuity fumbled, resulting in an accident that broke one rotor blade and damaged other blade tips. Despite this mishap, Ingenuity was responsive and even initiated a low-speed rotation as per commands. However, when the helicopter sent photos back, it was revealed that one of the blades was entirely missing. So it was announced that its mission had finally ended, but it was not a sad ending. After all that it accomplished, it's a well-deserved final rest. Here comes the best part, though. A strange find. Before finally getting grounded forever, Ingenuity did a great job of taking pictures of rugged Martian terrain and encountered things that baffled planetary scientists. One example of this is when Ingenuity captured what appeared to be UFO remains on the Martian surface during its 26th flight. This left UFO enthusiasts and left scientists wondering whether Mars had extraterrestrial visitors before robots from Earth arrived. But these theories went bust when NASA got the more detailed and colored image of the unusual objects lying on the Martian surface by the Ingenuity. It turned out to be the parachute from the descent stage along with the back shell, which protected Perseverance from burning up while entering the Martian surface. It's quite remarkable to think that humans managed to litter a planet before even stepping foot on it. Here is an interesting thought. From Mars's perspective, these rovers and parachutes certainly qualify as extraterrestrial. Now let's look at another fascinating thing caught on camera by Perseverance. The beautiful eclipse. Mars may have 2 moons, which sounds cool at first, but the truth is they are super small and not even round. Phobos, the larger moon of Mars, is just about 22 kilometers wide. To put that in perspective, if our moon were the size of a basketball, Phobos would be about the size of a golf ball. But the interesting part is, Phobos rises and sets twice a day on Mars, and it eclipses the Sun more than 1,000 times a year. Our moon is 400 times smaller than the Sun, but it's also about 400 times closer to us. This celestial coincidence makes them both appear roughly the same size when viewed from Earth. Hence, we get the captivating ring of fire during a total solar eclipse and the chipped sun effect during a partial eclipse. However, the eclipse of Phobos is very different. It's more like a transit of the Sun rather than an eclipse. Perseverance captured Phobos, eclipsing the Sun from Mars, and the sight was incredible. Furthermore, Phobos's irregular shape, which resembles a potato, made the spectacle more amazing. The reason behind Mars's moons having irregular shapes, unlike the moons of other planets in our solar system, is rather weird too. It is believed Phobos and Deimos, 2 moons of Mars, were initially 2 asteroids wandering around. Eventually, they got captured by Mars's gravity, settling into orbit around the planet. But let's look at the ground for a second. Spider creature. On one fine Martian day, Perseverance rover was busy taking pictures, collecting and evaluating samples on Mars. Something odd caught the eye of the scientists. Perseverance went to further inspect it, only to shock everyone even more. It appeared to be a spider-looking object, and to everyone's surprise, it was moving too, disappearing from its original location in the next picture taken by Perseverance. Is this proof of life? Is it some kind of organism moving around? Even if we assume it's not moving on its own and was moved by winds, it still doesn't make sense. An object shaped like that and too light to be moved around by winds shouldn't exist on Mars based on what we know about the Martian environment. Once again, people had a field day with alien theories. Unfortunately, further inspection concluded that it was just some spacecraft debris, a piece of Dacron netting. But is that really the case? Or are scientists hiding aliens from us? Spooky. While the discoveries up until now have been by NASA rovers, let's look at something quite different. The Zhurong Mars rover, almost 3 months after Perseverance's arrival on May 14, 2021, China's National Space Administration's rover landed on Mars, marking the first time there were 3 active rovers on the Martian surface. Named after the Chinese god of fire, Zhurong, the rover performed a soft landing after entering the Martian atmosphere on February 10, 2021. With objectives including studying topography and geology, as well as examining soil and ice content, the rover was initially designed for a mission duration of 90 sols. it exceeded its expected lifespan by staying active for more than 340 sols. However, as sandstorms approached along with the severe Martian winter, Zhurong went inactive on May 20, 2022, with the expectation of self-awakening in December 2022. Unfortunately, due to excessive dust accumulation, Zhurong never woke up, which brought an end to the historic period of 3 active rovers on Mars. While it has been almost 2 years since we last heard from Zhurong, the Chinese National Space Administration hasn't declared the mission complete yet. It's unclear whether they're hoping that Zhurong will wake up and resume operations, or if they're simply reluctant to accept the mission's end. Orbiters. While the rovers cruise around the dusty Martian surface, let's not forget the role of orbiters acting as our eyes over the red planet, giving a global view. They survey the Martian terrain in high resolution, revealing geological wonders and identifying optimal landing places for future missions. Unlike rovers, which are limited to specific regions, orbiters provide a broader perspective, allowing us to monitor environmental changes and weather patterns throughout the entire planet. Transferring data between the rovers and Earth, orbiters are the communication lifelines. Without them, the constant flow of information from the surface would be disrupted. There are currently 7 active orbiters orbiting Mars, providing researchers with key information to understand Mars's climate and potential for life's existence. At some point, the orbiters have also recorded some unbelievable phenomena on Mars. From faces to tall dust storms casting shadows, they have documented numerous weird sightings. Smiley face. Finding a smiley face painted at some abandoned place on Earth can be disturbing, but finding it on a whole other planet and so massive that it can be seen from space is just astonishing. This is Gala Crater, famously known as the Happy Face Crater. It may feel like a photoshopped image, but believe it or not, it's true. Our planetary neighbor was observed putting on a smile for the first time in 1976 by the Viking 1 orbiter. It feels as though Mother Nature, who has blessed us with numerous breathtaking sights on Earth, also used Mars as her canvas at some point in the past. Located on the eastern side of Argaea Planitia, this huge impact crater gets its smiley features from a mountain range nestled in the south of the crater and 2 round-looking mountain clusters above the center of the crater. So if you are ever having a bad day, remember, out there in space, there is a red planet smiling at you always. Future. With ongoing missions of both orbiters and rovers exploring Mars, one of the key future endeavors involves developing the technology necessary to bring back the samples collected by Perseverance to Earth. This would be a historic feat for humanity, allowing scientists to investigate elements from a planet more than 300 million kilometers away in unparalleled detail. The technological innovation necessary to complete this achievement heightens the significance of the attempt, demonstrating humanity's creativity and determination to explore the universe. Another ultimate goal, which Elon Musk is really working hard on, is to have a human mission land on Mars. But that won't happen until scientists figure out how to utilize resources on the red planet, such as minerals and water. As for terraforming Mars or nuking it for future prospects, let me clarify that while it sounds cool, it's not actively discussed by major space agencies. It's just not a realistic plan. Even if humans had the technology, which we don't, terraforming Mars would still take hundreds of thousands of years. So no, you won't be seeing the red planet go kaboom. That's all on the strange phenomena of the red planet and the robotic explorers it hosts. What are your thoughts on these anomalies and the incredible engineering feats of the rovers? Do you have a favorite among the rovers? Let us know in the comments. And if you ever had the opportunity to visit the red planet, would you be daring enough to go? While you're commenting, do hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more of these videos pop up on your feed, subscribe to our channel. Until next time, goodbye.